and equip the next generation of aviators. We achieve this by offering educational aviation seminars and tours to high school students. Our media channel, we provide our audience with relevant information on aviation filled through panel discussions, interviews with aviation professionals. We offer high school students the Junior Aviator course to broaden their understanding of aviation as well as increase their chances of getting into top aviation schools. We also offer Aviation Refresher and Advanced course on aviation topics. All our courses are carefully designed by aviation experts with international aviation qualifications in a wide range of aviation disciplines. The courses are designed to equip aviators with modern and relevant skills applicable in today's aviation world. Inspire, equip, empower, Flight Wings Aviation.
It's good to be back. Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Isaac Yami, and welcome to the Big Sky. Once again, I'm liking my notification because I'm seeing 12 people already on the line. This is dope. This is amazing. I'm quite excited. And good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to the Big Sky, the show where we get to explore the unlimited possibilities of aviation. So today we have a special guest. As always, to kickstart our season 2, I have a brother, and without wasting much time, I'm going to throw him in the mix, and then he's going to introduce himself, and we're going to start today's agenda. So without any further ado, I'm going to call my brother Bervin. How are you, brother?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm loving the lighting. I say this in the backstage, and I'm saying it now. I'm loving the lighting.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Welcome to the Big Sky, and you have the privilege to be our first guest. I don't know if we have the privilege or you have but let's say we all have the privilege to be together today for today's topic and today's interview. So yes, I want to say hello everyone who are just joining us. Our comment section is always free to engage with us as we speak. Any questions you have for Bervin, any questions you want us to delve on, we are down for that. We want something interactive this time around. Season 2, we're coming hot, faster, and better. And I like the fact that we're 50 people right now at the moment. And keep on sharing the link, like, subscribe, and do all of these cool things. So, Bervin, My brother, tell us a little bit about yourself, like introduce yourself, say hi to people, and let's break the ice.
Okay. Uh, Good evening, everyone watching. I'd like to thank Flight Wings Aviation for giving me this opportunity to be on the show. My name is Bervin Chikwangura. I'm an aircraft maintenance engineer and an aeronautical engineering student at the University of Zimbabwe. Um, I am a space and astrophysics fanatic. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say right now about myself. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. It sounds very complicated, and I believe we're going to uncomplicate it as well as we go on with the interview as well. So, tell us a little bit of your background of the study because I'm thinking you're talking about these things that are like so crazy cool. So I'm thinking how was you studying from what did you study from your late is that like previous years moving on to what you're doing now, like tell us just give us something, like how does it go, like how did it go?
Okay, probably I'll start from the grassroots. In A level, I studied maths, physics, and chemistry. And then from high school, I went on to study aircraft maintenance engineering at the Zimbabwe Aviation Training Center at Air Zimbabwe. I, after finishing AME, that's what you call it, I decided then to further my studies, to explore new opportunities. And then I applied for aeronautical engineering at the University of Zimbabwe. And what I'm doing right now. So that's a bit about my studies, and I think I've just started. I still have a lot more studies coming up.
Yeah, it's
I think
it's
that's all.
it's, it's awesome. And like take us through the is that aeronoctonal.
Aeronautics,
Oh,
aeronautics.
aeronautics. My goodness.
Yes.
See how even these are big words. These are big words, and they are big words, but I mean specifically. So take us through why this? I mean, why this type of engineering? Why this specifically? I mean,
Okay. Personally, when I finished aircraft maintenance engineering, I was like, okay, um, looking at the things I wanted to get into, I decided to then get into aeronautics. Why did I decide to do that? Well, I realized that aeronautics gives a lot of opportunities. Like aeronautics opens doors to a lot of things and a lot of fields where you can just apply yourself besides restricting yourself to the aircraft. I didn't want to restrict myself to the aircraft. So looking at the future of engineering and everything, I just said to myself, okay, let me go and study aeronautics. And I think to this moment, it hasn't been a bad decision.
well, aeronautics, right? Aeronautics. Yes, I'm in love big. I'm in love of
Yes,
words. So
yes, yes.
I mean, I have to rebuke myself for not pronouncing it very well. Aeronautics. Yes. So you're talking about how there are vast opportunities that lie within the field itself. Like, what are some of those? I mean, just let's uncomplicate things. I mean, let's break it down. Let's break it
Okay,
down.
yes.
What kind of vast
I
things are
just I
available
just
there?
thought about it. Yes. So actually, aeronautics, right? It's not really like just about aircraft, right? And maybe rockets. Aeronautics can be applied anywhere, like anything that interacts with air. Because in aeronautics, you like can measure in something called like aerodynamics, right? So anything that interacts with air. is aeronautics, right? Like the movement of any body in the air, right? That's something aeronautics has to deal with, right? So let's look at probably cars. Those fast cars. That's all aeronautics, like to design those cars so that they go fast. There's something that we call drag, like the force that pushes something back. Like when you put your hand out of the car, like when it's moving, right? You can feel your hand being pushed back, right? Like when the car is moving, that's drag, right? So aeronautics like applies such knowledge of aerodynamics in a lot of things, be it in buildings, be it in like designing buildings so that they don't they don't interact like with air, like causing a lot of drag. Anyway, I'm trying to uncomplicate things, but I'm finding myself using some
Okay.
terms that probably if someone has a question, they can just ask. Yes, Formula One cars, for example, those fast BMWs, Benz, all that's aeronautics. So those are the fields that you can apply aeronautics without talking about the aircraft. So it's actually a lot of things.
Wow,
A lot.
wow, wow. I concur because you spoke about a lot of things. I'm loving the support in
Yeah.
the comment section. Man, you bring in so many people. I'm loving the support. I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in right now. There's a point where we reach 20 people at the same time watching this show. I am very, very,
Oh
very
man.
honored. Thank you
I'm
so
very
much for the
grateful.
support. Keep
Thank
on
you guys.
supporting, keep on giving us the good comments and everything. And we're learning out here. We're learning out here as much.
Yeah,
So this show is basically about aviation because it's aviation, I guess, flight wings aviation. And
exactly.
for those who are watching,
Exactly.
for those who are watching us for the first time, basically we're an education consultancy. We deal with with three words in our mantra, which is equip, inspire, and empower. Everything to do with aviation from we're starting off from the grassroots, basically educating the young ones on how they can achieve this amazing dream. Like to fly, it's such an incredible thing, and
That's true.
it needs imagination, and we are there to foster and to create that imagination into something that becomes the next Bervins or the next people or the next Wright brothers or whatsoever that's going to happen in the future. So let's talk about aviation specifically. We're on an aviation show right
Okay.
now. Let's talk
All right.
about aviation. What does it mean to you, like
Okay.
aviation?
Aviation to me, aviation means high tech, like high technology. Like when I just hear the word aviation, I see aircraft, those complicated looking, big machines. I see smart people taking control of those things, like pilots, I see those busy aircraft engineers and coming like taking that away. Aviation like contributes into making this world a global village. Like right now I can just get a ticket and go to the UK in 8 hours. Like it's not like something that is no is impossible anymore. Like aviation makes that possible. And also aviation, right, um it's the key driver to economic growth. Like look at the tourism sector. We can't like market Victoria Falls and for example, right, and get people coming to it without them using aircraft, without them be contributing to the development of aviation. So to me, aviation means all that to me, and it's just full of opportunities. Like okay, fine, I can say a lot about it, but in short, that's what I can say.
Yeah, I like the fact that you also included that it's an economic factor, and you touched on the recreational part of like people visiting Victoria Falls. and making it possible that we can fly around and move around. I mean,
Yes.
aviation brings this world to a plausible opportunity to explore it. Like around the world in 80 days is actually possible. I mean,
Exactly.
if you can fly, I mean,
You can
for
be
those who have
anywhere
watched,
in
yeah,
this
if
world
anyone has watched around
any
the world
day
in 80 days, they were actually using the water as a form of traveling. But
of travel.
with aviation, this possible within a short amount of time. I might
Yeah.
say. So for me, like you brought about so many things in terms of how the aerodynamics is a very huge dynamic, where you spoke about the
Okay.
rocket and everything and stuff. Like let's just drift a bit. Let's talk about what's happening with the richest people in the world. I mean, the Richard Branson, the Jeff
Exactly.
Bezos. Like, how do you like? What's your take on that? Basically, let's just ease down. I mean, less with the serious stuff. Let's. What do you see from that? Because I know you're an enthusiastic. I'm trying to feed that passion you have for
I
aerodynamics. Like
don't
that
know how you
separate one.
I don't know how you chose to choose like such questions. Like I have a lot to say about that actually.
Yeah, let's dive in. Let's dive in.
Jeff Bezos, Jeff Bezos, sorry, and Richard Branson, like they are trying to commercialize space travel, right? So
You think
we
it's a
are
lucrative
saying that,
business? Yeah.
sorry,
Do you think it's a
there,
lucrative
there,
business? Do you think there's so much money there, like going to
there is
space?
so
I
much
mean,
money. Like looking into the future of aeronautics and aviation, that is an industry that is going to make a lot of money for them, right? So, Jeff Bezos and let's talk about Elon Musk and Richard Branson.
yeah, I forgot Elon.
Their initiative is actually awesome because as human beings, we are looking into making humans a multi-planetary species, right? So this is a step in the right direction, and we are trying to. Oh, I'm saying we because when I talk about aviation and
Yeah, you're part
everything,
of it.
I
You're part
see
of it. You're
myself
part of
part
it.
of
Don't deprive
it.
yourself of the inclusivity. You are part of it. I mean, we.
Okay,
I like
fine.
the
Yes.
we.
Okay, we're saying that we want to give people an opportunity to see Earth in a different perspective, to travel from the planet which they live in. When you go out there, right? Let's say on a commercial flight to space, you will see Earth, right? And you see how fragile it is compared to the universe. So that view will make you like when you come back to Earth, you will have like
Different perspective. Yeah.
a better understanding of like what our life on this planet is all about. And you actually make an effort to save this planet. Because sometimes when we say global warming, guys, we don't have any other warm at the moment. Let's save the planet. Let's not use fossil fuels. Let's move to green energy. People don't listen to that. If they do not have that perspective. So personally, I would go for that. And I haven't really, you know, gone out of space, but I have that kind of perspective through my studies, through my hobbies during my free time. So I think that initiative they have to make to commercialize space travel is actually awesome for the human race.
Yeah, I like the fact that you are in good lighting, but I could see you lit when we're talking about these things. I mean, it's your passion. You were moved and so forth. Like, I have a question on that. Like, how did you cultivate this passion to be interested in this? I mean, the astronomy and all of these things. I mean, from an African point of view, I mean, us even thinking like that is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like yeah, how
Okay.
did you cultivate yourself, and what kind of environment did you grow up in? I mean, that could actually foster you to have that zeal to like and to love astronomy and all of these other things. Like, take us through the journey. I mean,
Okay. All right. So when I was growing up, I grew up in an in a neighborhood where aircraft would pass, like going to land, like it's close to the airport, right, to our international. And my father used to take me for fishing to one of these like dams that are close to the airport, right? And I would see an aircraft close by. And then I think that's when, you won't really know, like you end up being there. But I think that's when this thing was cultivated in me, right? Like aircraft passion and everything. And the space, when you're doing something, like I always believe in, okay, this goes out to every student out there and upcoming engineers and people who want to join the aviation industry. Don't limit yourself to one thing, right? You should look at aviation, right? And then go into other things that are related to aviation. So when I was looking at aviation, right, I was like, okay, guys, I now fix aircraft, like in layman's language. We move in air, we fly through air, and there is there is no air outside our atmosphere, right? And that is space, that is astronomy, that is the universe. And what is it like that's out there in the universe? So I started asking myself those questions. And since I spend my time, like, I don't have like fancy hobbies. Like, it's either I'm watching cricket or, well, but I'm always researching. So to every student out there, you just have to keep having questions about what's out there, what's linked to your program, what's linked to whatever you are doing, and ask yourself questions. Look for those answers. The internet is there. You can learn anything at home. Like right now, you were saying that Africans, if you say astronomy, you'll be like, okay, what are you doing? But to tell you the truth, you can be an astronomer wherever you are. Like you can know space through research, through the internet, and yeah, I think that's all I have to say. That's how I discovered. Like I applied myself. I'm self-motivated, so I just look at things and I ask questions, and I end up answering those questions, like through research. So that's how I learned about all this. In this life, there's no one who's going to save you or who is going to answer your questions. There are specific questions you have to look for the answers. I think that's how you find your purpose in life.
Yeah, man, I have to say it's a pleasure listening to you. A man in his passion, it's a pleasure, and I believe everybody is enjoying the way I am. I mean, I'm liking the comments, and there's a question that's saying that is it possible for humans to live in another planet in the future? I think you mentioned about when we're talking about the Jeff Bezos projects and everything.
Yes, yes.
I actually think it's possible. I mean, it's possible. However, I have an opposing view in the sense that let's end world hunger first before we move on. But I mean,
Okay,
you can never
fine.
entirely you can never entirely make everybody happy. So it's not a reason also not to explore other options as
Exactly.
well. And yeah, I like the
Fantastic.
fact that you are self motivated. One, and the fact
Mhm.
that you use the internet the vast world of the internet is really essential, and it's very profitable as a person if you really dig deeper into it, and so for everything we need to learn is on the internet, and I think somehow it's part of aviation somehow. I mean, the internet
Exactly. It
and
is.
all of these things, and it is so.
Because I was talking about
um
high tech.
yeah, high
Yeah.
tech and all of these things, so you should be
Mm.
motivated to learn beyond your field, or to actually develop and make it better and so forth. So
Exactly. That's true.
yeah, people have plan A's and plan B's, and I think from I don't know why I'm saying from an African perspective, but then allow me to say so. Most of the time we have plan A's and plan B's. If it wasn't what you're doing right now, what could it have been? If what could you have preferred if it's not this? Like, what else could be Bervin all about? Do you ever think about that? Do you ever think about that?
Oh, Yes, actually, I think I was going to be in the pure sciences, like just doing maybe physics, and yeah, I think physics to be specific, because I believe in natural sciences. I believe that physics uh, is like learning. It's like learning from first principles, like learning things from where they really come from, and you can end up solving a lot of problems through um, the application of physics. But you'd have to engage with engineers and all. But I can say that I would have chosen physics.
Another question: do you think you understanding all of these things is it's a natural, something that's very natural to you, or you're a very hard worker? Which one will you pick?
Okay.
Don't be humble. Don't be humble. At least, don't be humble. At least this minute. Don't be. I mean, I'm allowing you to give us. I'm allowing you to give you this opportunity just to tell me the truth. I mean, you're always the truth. Just we'll understand. We'll not say you're not being humble, but then, I mean, honestly, what do you think? Do you think this stuff comes naturally to you, or you genuinely needed to work hard and then you came through? Like, tell us that experience. Like, you understanding all of these things, is
uh,
it innate or it's something that you worked hard towards?
okay. I was lucky, or I'm lucky to be the last born son in our family, and all my siblings, right? Um, they motivated me. They are hard workers, all of them. I'm sure they're watching right now, but those people work hard and they achieve in life, right? So that was like the push growing up. And then besides that push, you have to apply yourself as a person, right? So yes, I worked hard. There's nothing special about you know me and anything. You just have to apply yourself, work hard. But there is always that natural thing of just
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
okay, I
I'm
like
feeling
this.
the less
I
humility coming, but I like it. Go on, go on, go on.
like naturally, that I have to do this. Like it just comes. Like sometimes, like, okay, I just have to say this. Like sometimes when you're sleeping, right, you can just wake up and say, okay, I think I lack in this and that, right? And then you just go there, work on it, right? So I think hard work plays um,
A very huge part.
a huge part in the
The
person.
reason
Played a huge part in the person
played
I am
in
now.
the
Yeah.
reason why I'm asking you this question is Flight Wings Aviation. Basically, we're targeting going to the grassroots of for young people who are
Yes.
still fresh in imagination, and most of
Okay.
the time we have this misconception of thinking, oh, if someone talks about physics and all of these things, it's something that's so hard. Yeah, it might be hard
Okay.
like any
Yeah.
other thing. I mean, but then that's a certain level of encouragement, and I know it's never too late to start something, but I'm talking about someone who's struggling.
Yes.
Maybe they love physics, but then they're just struggling basically, and they're thinking maybe they're not gifted enough. And that's the reason why I'm asking this question because there's an element where I'm not saying that people should force careers, but I mean there's an element that if you definitely give it your all somewhat, it actually definitely works. So that's the
It
reason
will.
why I
It
wanted you
will.
to talk
That's
about
true.
this
That's true.
to show
Hmm.
that there's a
It's
part of it that
possible.
can it's possible, like
Mm.
we are normal human beings. I do believe if you can do it, I can do it, anyone else can do it. Not because we're
That's
comparing
true.
ourselves, but we are motivating ourselves. So I
Exactly.
really want young people to get to this part where they even say that I am not so special, but it's all about the hard work and the environment that you're in. So if you're a young person, you're basically watching this, one thing that it works for me is when you hang around the right people. I mean, hang around the people who make you think the certain way that you
Exactly.
want to.
That's
It
true.
kind of like
That's
brushes
true.
over. Like I mean, it's something that's very important, especially when it comes
Hmm.
to things that are so not so normal in terms of like nobody really talks about all of these things. I mean, but then it's
Yes.
a good thing that you mentioned how there's an aspect of hard work as well, and how your family, your supportive family, is part of you being who you are. So,
That's for sure.
on a little bit of a down moment, I mean, on a down moment, um, I think we've been 2 years and we've been hit by a storm. It's called COVID, and we've seen so many things happen.
Yes.
I personally
Mm-hmm.
was in the middle of planning something great. Like I do performance art, and the time when that happened, we were stopped and we couldn't really move around and
I
stuff,
can
and all of
imagine.
these things, and it was difficult for me and my friends and everything. But I can now imagine there's one industry that was hit, and no one expected it that it was gonna be hit the way it did. Aviation. Let's talk about the
Exactly. That's true.
pandemic affecting aviation industry. Like, what was going through your mind when I think, for instance, things like Ryanair left. I think it relinquished most of its pilots, and so many things
Mm-hmm.
happening, man. And you're in this industry, and somewhat before people would say it's the safest industry to be. It's $1,000. It's a lot of money and stuff. It's true because we've had pilots on the show, and then they've definitely talked about how it's paying and all of these things. And then COVID came about, shut it down. Let's talk about that experience.
Mm-hmm.
What was going through your mind
Okay.
when COVID was happening?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, when COVID hit, right, we never thought that it's going to affect like aviation in the way it did. Uh, Imagine like airlines were retrenching, airlines were shutting down, and like you would have like personally, I'm already in the field, and there's someone who is trying to. There was someone who was trying to get into it, right? And then looking at how things started falling apart. Even British Airways, like retrenched pilots and some employees, So that like coming to me, I was like, okay, is this the end of aviation? Because that time, to tell you the truth, there was no light at the end of the channel. That time,
It was a train,
we
actually,
didn't know.
more COVID.
We did
The,
not know. We
the light
did
was a
not
train,
know.
even. It was a
Exactly.
train, I
We did
mean,
not know.
phases
Oh
and
yeah.
phases. I mean, yeah. Sometimes the light at the end of the tunnel is actually another train, I mean, yeah.
Or it's actually like the light of a cigarette, like that stuff. Anyway, fine. Uh, so um, I was like, okay, I think I made a wrong choice. I was in my first year, remember, right? Like, okay, why did I leave work
Well,
and start doing this?
please don't spare any details because I need it. I need it. When you're first year, you have this thing where you were. I'm taking it you as from having this conversation with you, you're a passionate individual. So I'm trying to imagine the passion you had, and then it was like pouring water on a flame. Don't leave out the details. Take me through. Take me through. Take the viewers through. Take the viewers through. Your first year, yeah. Let's go on with that. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yes. Like in your first year, you would have those like expectations and everything. And then all of a sudden, it's like the industry is shutting down. We are not going to have aviation industries. And we are going like we are not going to have planes flying anymore because they are running broke. Because aviation is in as much as it is paying, right? It is very fragile. Look, we just shut down the borders, right? There were no flights. Nobody was flying, right? Pilots were being retrenched. If pilots are retrenched, it means there are no planes to fly, right? And then if the planes are not flying, there are no engineers to work on them because they are not there. So yeah, it came to me as that moment when you think that, oh, okay, this is the end of it. But that hope that we all like in life there's a point where you need hope, like hope for the best, like okay, things are going to be okay. So yeah, I just consider that like okay, uh there's hope, so things might change, even though aviation took a nosedive, like it really plunged into the water.
I know hope is what keeps us living. as human beings. But then, was there any sense of discouragement that was so personal, or like something that's so personal to you, and that moment you're thinking, really, did I make the best decision? Did you have those moments, or you kept your head up, held up
Oh,
high, and you knew where you were going? Did you have any downers? Not like necessarily you rolling down or not like being depressed, but like logical, like okay, so like not second guessing, but then I'm
yeah,
like
the logical ones.
any downers.
The logical ones. I was really depressed. Like, I chose to leave work for school. I had gotten like an offer to go and work in Dubai, which I turned down. I turned down offers from Zimbabwe. I actually got calls. Like this other time I was in a lecture, right? And then a call came from the HR, right? I I shouldn't say this, but I answered it in the lecture, right? So and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm now into something else, right? I can't do this, right? So yeah, um I was like depressed. Like, did I make a bad choice? Were those calls like uh, a sign, a signal to say, okay, leave school, come back to aviation, like to
Yeah,
work. Don't pursue education.
I take it. You know how we're Christian, and then we're all about the side thing. I don't know. We're always side. Like everything is all about
Exactly.
the side, and the side, and the side, and the side. We're quite. I don't want to say we're obsessed, but we like the spiritual influence. I mean, like at the same time, and wow, man, I'm proud. I'm
Superstition.
proud that you were getting to get to answer phone calls whilst you're in the lecture. I mean, man is on demand. Man is on demand, and yeah. So
Mm.
so when you were, I think there's a question that's really interesting. It's like, did you regret turning those offers during the COVID pandemic? Like, how did you? Because I think you was talking about how you were starting to think about science. Like, let's talk about how you slightly had slight regrets. Let's not dwell on it too much, but I think the experience of whatever you're gonna say might actually help someone.
Okay. When you're like, okay, let me say that when I chose this path, right? Yes, I had regrets because at some point, like you get to university, right? And then the courses are tough, and you're being put in a group of students. You're not used to it, right? You're now you like I was now used to working, attending interviews and stuff, right? So going back to school on the desk and COVID coming through, like I thought that we were not going to continue with education, right? Because of COVID, because UZ literally closed, right? And they did not have
Yeah,
any
you
news
need to
on
use
when they were
closed.
going
Yeah.
to open, right? So I was like, I think I made like a bad choice. I should have been working, but it's that voice that comes at the back of your mind, like, and a driving force called passion. You know, when you're passionate about something, you you don't have anything in your way that can stop you. So I was like, no, I'll keep moving, keep walking. Like, I like the statement that says weitergehen, like in German. I mean, keep walking.
Okay. Okay. Deep stuff. Deep stuff. Any would you want to share maybe why you declined most of the stuff that you were having offers? If you may, I mean, if it's not really too personal, like why did you decline those
Okay.
offers?
Not trying to offend the ones who accepted, or trying to be, in the modern day language, trying to be bougie or something like that. I declined those offers because I looked into my future and I was like, okay, do I want to keep doing this, right? Do I want to keep touching grease, right? And going home smelling grease, or having like uncomfortable shifts, Not to say that I won't meet them, I will meet them. But there are certain things that I considered, like for my future, for mm, I'm a multi-generational thinker, right? So I thought about the generations to come, uh, uh, like from me. So I was like, no, I think I won't be able to sustain them if I do this and end here. So I was like, I have to sacrifice my time. I have to sacrifice this moment. I'm still growing up. I just have to sacrifice and do this. So that's why I turned down all the all the offers.
Wow. And then the follow-up question would be, do you feel like you made the right decision leaving work and coming back to school? What's your take on that as well?
Yes, I made the right decision. That's the right decision. Because had I not made that move, I wouldn't be knowing things that I know now. I wouldn't have had options in front of me that I see. And I know that one day I'll just achieve them. And because, with the drive I have, I'm sure that, one day I will be able to apply this. So I made the right choice.
Oh, awesome. You mentioned something about you being a multi-generational thinker. How can one be that? And how? What is it? I'm thinking you
Yes.
say this. It's thinking beyond years, but the way you termed it, I think it's really important because when in life we're taking very like a leap of faith like you did, I mean, it has to be something very logical. And you said multi-generational thinker. Share with us what is multi-generational thinker and how can one achieve that? Specifically, let's try and motivate because we inspire, empower, and equip. So
Okay.
we can let's on a motivational tip. What is it? What is this multi-generational thinking?
Okay. Multi-generational thinking is that kind of ideology, right? That can make. Let me give you an example. Someone who is 80 years old planting trees that take 30 years to fully grow, that person is a multi-generational thinker because he's not thinking about himself or themselves like I have to eat now or I have to do this now. They are thinking about the people who will come, right? I think that's the same thought that had people who started aviation, right? The Wright brothers
The
and
right
all
brothers,
those
yeah.
people who came up with these ideas, right? You know, those people were multi-generational. They did not build aircraft so that, it just ends with them. They had vision. They knew where aircraft like was the aircraft was going to take humanity. They knew that, and also there are people like okay, let me just mention these people who were like multi-generational. There were people like Albert Einstein. There were people who came up with the electricity that we are now using. We talk about Nikola Tesla. Those people, they were multi-generational. They were not thinking about themselves. They were thinking about people to come. So in taking it on a personal level, I'm not thinking about what I will eat tomorrow, right? I'm thinking about what my son, what my grandchildren, what the family tree is going to be like in the future, even when I'm not there anymore. But now it is time for me to set the pace, to set the foundation for them so that they don't start where I started. They start somewhere and they actually take the generation like further and further and higher and higher. So that's what it is to be multi-generational, like a multi-generational thinker.
Wow, wow. But in short, explain how you can cultivate that in yourself. I mean, imagination. Um, I don't think it's easy for me, but I think I have that grasp because I write and I'm a writer and all of these things that I feel like words kind of give me this ability to create things and stuff. But then from your view, I want to hear it from another perspective. Like, how can you encourage yourself to become one? I mean, you spoke about how the family tree, and how can you have that habit of thinking not only about yourself but futuristic? Like, how can you do that?
Well, I think that thought is cultivated the moment you become selfless. Like, you don't think about yourself all the time. You also think about other people. But I'm trying to put across like what I'm trying to say. You know, I'm not eloquent in speech, and I'm like what my
Stop it!
husband
Stop
teacher
it!
used
Stop
to
it! I
say.
mean, we've been talking all of this time. What do you mean you're not eloquent?
You know,
We've been
you know,
talking all this time. Yeah.
I know my high school teacher always used to say that, no, you science students don't know how to express your points and stuff. Yeah, if only I had an equation I could write down to put it there and say, for you to be a multi-generational thinker, X plus Y is equal to Z. But all I can say now is that don't think about yourself. Be a selfless person. It's something that you need to cultivate in you. Start helping. Start, you know, don't put yourself first, right? If you do that, I think that thing of thinking about people to come, not yourself, will be cultivated in you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
it's very moving into the show as well. And obviously the next question would be, um, what do you think the future of aviation could be? I mean, and I don't know, for some reason we brought this multi-generational thinking, and then it actually moved into us moving into the next move. But I want us to handle this question like this. I want you to talk.
Okay.
Let's first think locally, and then become globally.
Mhm.
So, what is the future of
Okay.
aviation like? What do you think the future of aviation holds from your Zimbabwean, right? From a Zimbabwean perspective, what do you
Yeah.
think the future of aviation holds from a Zimbabwean bird's view?
Okay. The future of aviation in Zimbabwe, I think in the next years to come, aviation will be like accessible to everyone. What do I mean by that? I mean that in schools, no one would think that becoming a pilot needs such and such, like guessing. They will actually know what they need so that they become pilots. They actually know what they need so that they become aircraft engineers. They will know what they need so that they become flight attendants. Anything that has to do with aviation, they will know. Because from my own experience, I think that was lacking. The education, the awareness to tell people that aviation is like this. Aviation is not difficult to get into. Aviation is something that you might end up being into, like it's not complicated, it's achievable, it's possible, right? So in the future, I'm seeing Zimbabweans venturing into aviation, like a lot of them, like a lot of students will be opting for that. Not to say that someone is just out there saying, when I grow up, I want to be a pilot, but they don't know what they need to do. Right? They don't know what's there for them to achieve or to have so that they become pilots, right? So to me, I think in the future in Zimbabwe, aviation will be something that people know, like from school, from home, like they know what aviation is. Because right now, if you ask any random person what aviation is, they actually don't really know. So it's something that personally I will see into it. I will I will start, if everything goes well, something that helps students see. Oh, I will just help Flight Wings. You have already started this thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah. Say
guys,
no further.
it's awesome.
I'm coming in. I mean, fly wings were
It's
multi
awesome. It's
generational
awesome.
thinkers.
Yes, Flight Wings. Flight Wings, that's the best place. Like for people who want to know. So I'll actually share this link. Like, guys, get to know about Flight Wings, right? These guys, they will let you know about what you need to become part of the aviation industry. So that's it about Zimbabwe. I think the awareness has to go at some level.
Yeah.
We can start from there, and then from there, then we can take it somewhere. But first, need that awareness in Zimbabwe, and then internationally, aviation is the future of aviation. I'm seeing that the future is going green. What do I mean by that? We're moving away from fossil fuels, right? We'll be using, in the future, there will be the use of electric aircraft, right? We are talking about saving the planet. Now look at the floods, the earthquakes, everything that has to do with global warming and the change of climate. Aviation is also contributing a certain part because of the fuels we are using and the types of engines we are using. So in the future, I'm seeing aviation going electric. I'm seeing aviation moving away from fossil fuels, like using hydrogen fuel, like and solar powered aircraft. You know, all those things. We should move away from that and make sure that in the next 30 years, like what the automotive industry is doing. In some countries, they are saying that in Europe, they're saying that by 2030, we don't want diesel powered or petrol powered cars. We are going electric. That's why there's this boom of electric cars, Tesla, for example. So I'm seeing aviation going green and following the trend that other people are setting, from the power industry to the automotive.
Wow. Wow. I'm actually visioning this because I'm also a multi-generational thinker. I would love to think so. Yeah. I was visualizing what you're talking about, and I just want to re-emphasize on the fact that in Zimbabwe the awareness could be really, really low at this very particular time. Hence the rise of Flywings Aviation. Because also I
Yes,
know that I don't know if the industry never really wanted to make it clear how you could actually become someone who's an aviator. I mean, where I'm currently based right now, people doing aviation. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, people are actually being given an opportunity to do so. But then I know in Zim, some people are discouraged and thinking maybe you need to have this super high IQ or this and that. But the truth of it is, if you focus, if you give it your all, and if you bring yourself to it, hard work, it basically does work. It might not be easy, but it definitely gets there. So
exactly.
at Flight Wings Aviation, we aim to inspire,
Yes,
equip, and empower. That's who we are. So let's take the first part, awareness. We are here as Flight Wings Aviation to do so, and the rest, man, we're there to back you up and to do so much. And I believe you could be one of the best thinkers in the world. And yes, I would vouch for you, and I'll be the first one to say I interviewed this man, and
thank you.
I had the privilege, and I have the privilege.
Thank
Um,
you, thank you.
so it's sad that we are getting to the end of the show, and I love the support we had. I mean, the first episode, season 2, this is a bang. I mean, I am going to sleep peacefully today, knowing that we opened the show season 2 on a very high note. It would be a shame if we do not encourage the young aviators who are thinking about it or never had that idea. Let's talk to the young people right now. Let's talk to someone who's in grade let's say grade, when did I know the right brothers? Let's say maybe grade 4. I mean, let's go there. Let's go to the grassroots right now. What can you
Okay,
tell that
okay.
young person, the young
Mm-hmm,
viewer that's watching today, who might
mm-hmm.
become the next Wright brother or Elon Musk or whoever? What can you tell them? What can
Okay,
you tell them?
to the grade fours and the young growing up, I can only say that anything that you are thinking about in terms of innovation and anything, uh, since we are on an aviation show, let me delve into aviation and aeronautics, right? You can achieve anything that you can think of if you apply yourself, right? If you just devote your time into trying to make yourself a better person, I think you can just achieve anything. Don't give up. Things can be tough. I don't want to lie. Like I want to be frank with you, things can be tough. This field of sciences can be tough. You might think that this is the end, I can't do this, but you can do it if you just apply yourself. Look for the right people. Like you said when we started the show, you said that look for the right people to hang around. So it's something that you need to develop as a young person so that you achieve anything. The sky is the limit, actually. There's no limit. You can get anywhere that you want if you apply yourself. And since this is a social media age, just know what you go on social media to do. It's better for you to go through all flight wings interviews and episodes so that you know what's out there, because as Africans we lack exposure. So expose yourself. How do you expose yourself? You expose yourself through research, through watching other people. I was laughing at myself, like the things that I now know about a space launch, like the launch of a rocket, right? They are like a lot. But as an African, yet I just sit back and just know that Jeff Bezos is going to space. I wouldn't be knowing these things, but I had to watch other people doing it. So don't go on social media to follow nicely dressed people, right? No, I think that's not really how you cultivate yourself as a student. You can do that when you have now figured yourself, like, this is me. But as you are growing, as you're trying to find a trade, a career, a passion, you have to apply yourself in the best sense. I think that's all I have to say.
I will not add more. I will not remove any. Thank you so much, my brother. That was Bervin for you guys. Excellent man, excellent young man. I wish you all the best, and yes, I hope we meet sooner and on so many platforms. And then obviously you're always welcome to come back on Flightway on the Big Sky all the time. We like the brilliant mind that you have, and it's great. And I want to thank you guys, the viewers. You are who you are. Why we do all of these things. Thank you so much for the support for your brother and for this so and so. And please do subscribe, share, spread this. And let's educate people about aviation, because it's really important. So my final words would be today I missed my co-host because I'm not gonna say much, but it was a great interview. Thank you so much, Bervin. You spoke as if you're home, and you made me feel like I was at home. And I do not regret starting the show season 2 with an amazing guest like you. And my takeaway, I usually have to have a takeaway, something that I've learned from the guest. My takeaway from tonight's interview, or morning, or whenever you're gonna watch this, is I am a multi-generational thinker. Tell yourself this. You are a multi-generational thinker. If you tell yourself that, you can achieve so much. And to the young individuals who are watching, thank you so much. To the old and to the youngings and all these age groups, thank you so much for gracing this platform. Bervin, I wish you all the best in your endeavor. I don't know if you have any social media platforms that you would love people to follow you on your journey. I would wish you'd actually document your journey, because I think that would be a great experience. Yes, so
I'll take it. I'll consider that.
Anywhere people can follow you, this is the time to share that as well. And we believe in promoting your guests as well. Yeah.
Okay. On Twitter, I'm Son of George 95. On 95, Instagram, I'm Son of George 95. On Facebook, I'm Bervin Nyasha Hilary. On LinkedIn, you can look for Bervin Nyasha Hilary Chikwangura. You won't go wrong. Yes.
Awesome, you gave a Twitter follow. Let me even look for you on Twitter. But thank you so much, everyone. I would hate for this to end, but The concept of time doesn't allow us to continue. But thank you so much, brother. You have a great one. The
You're
guest,
welcome.
thank you for gracing the show. And our viewers, thank you so much for being an amazing, amazing bunch. I love the comments. They were just so much, so much, so much. Thank you, brother. There's so much comments, and this is so much love. Son of George. So, my brother, it's always a
Yeah.
pleasure. All right.
My
And
pleasure. Thank you so much for hosting me.
from the team, Isaac Yami, the host, and Bervin was the guest. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Like I said, be a multi-generational thinker.